Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
If we call meeting to order with roll call, please, Sheila.
Commissioner Chair Lee,
Here.
Commissioner Carey,
Here.
Commissioner Molina,
Here.
Commissioner Velasco,
Here.
and Commissioner Batterson is absent.
Thank you, Sheila. So next item on the agenda is, can we have an approval of the last minutes of July 13th, 2021, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain. Those absent.
Approval of minutes. Okay, moving on to number 4. We have the public adopt road recognitions. Alex?
Thank you, Commissioner Lee and Commissioners. Good afternoon. Want to welcome our Adopt a Road volunteer groups that were able to come today. Today, we'd like to just thank them for their efforts in the Adopt a Road program. It's been a program that's been around for a couple of years, spearheaded by Scott Christian and the Special Districts team. So I'm going to pass it over to Brett if he has any comments from the operations side. But then we do have some certificates that we would like to present to the group. So I'm going to leave the staff report to Mr. Fulgoni.
Thank you all. Well, first of all, I'd just like to personally thank everyone here. You're, certainly an important piece of fabric of our community, and we actually have a little presentation that Anthony's worked on that we'd like to just go through and sort of, give everybody an idea of what the program is and for everybody's benefit. And so, without further ado, Anthony, you're welcome to do that, and then we'll have some certificates for you at the end of the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Brett. Hello all. This is our Adopt a Road program. It is a litter abatement program that was redeveloped in 2016. I believe it initially came to be in the 2000s. I want to say 2008. Currently, we have about 8 groups involved. They all contribute and take care of about 3 blocks of city roadway or walkway. And in addition, they all contribute, and according to a study done in 2019 by an independent nonprofit, the value of a volunteer work in 2019 was valued at $29.95 an hour. For our statistics, since the program has began and over the course of 5 years, has saved the city about $5,678.40 annually, which is awesome. Our program provides fashion gear, such as safety vests, grabbers, buckets, as well as trash rings. One of the great things, actually, just recently we were able to acquire a few more grabbers, which helps our volunteers look a little bit more fashionable. Some pictures. This is our Minerva Club. Our Minerva Club has been a part of the program since January of 2017. They cover just under a mile of roadway along from Cook to Park along Lincoln and Broadway, and have contributed 182 hours in total, which is awesome. Our Democratic Club of Santa Maria Valley has been a part of the program since September of 2017 and has contributed 154 hours in total and cover along Broadway from McAllen to Main Street, which up and down comes to about 1.25 miles in total, which is the greatest length of distance covered for all of our groups. The Rotary Club of Santa Maria covers Buena Vista Park, which is about a little more than 4 acres, 4.3, and has been a part of the program since 2017, June of 2017, and has contributed about 168 hours, which is great. Their Adopt a Road program covers from Depot along Park and Morrison to, I want to say Lincoln, actually. Santa Maria Noontimers Lions Club covers from Morrison to Stoll along Broadway, actually, and they have contributed 147 hours in total, as well as covering that stretch of roadway. Anyone is welcome to participate in the program, so it's a great way to promote civic responsibility and, of course, abate trash along public walkways. This is a picture from when the program, I believe, initially started through the city manager's office, as well as Public Works and, of course, Rec and Parks. That's our group from here in the city manager's office. Mary Harvey's there. Ariana Reyes from Human Resources is there. Our city manager, Mr. Stillwell, is there, and then a myriad of other city employees from the city manager's offices here. These are our participants and their roadways that they take care of. Dottie Lyons, who is not here today, she's been a part of the program and does it solo since, I want to say the beginning, January 2017, actually. The only one that is older, I would say, is JD Human Landscape, which started in 2016, actually. This is a 2-year commitment program, which equates to about 6 cleanup events each year for 12 in total. And at the end of it, we present each group with a certificate of appreciation, and as well as provide them with a sign at the start of their adopted road and at the end, which also comes with a decal and a name of their organization that's presented all along the road, along their sign. How to get started and to join this program, you can look it up on our city website, as well as pick up a flyer or download it and print it from the city website or at our administrative office. And then, of course, you get to work with me. Thank you all for listening, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Anthony. That was a great presentation, and hopefully everybody got a little bit more understanding of what the program is and you know what the program's really capable of. It's still in its infancy, and we're looking for new ideas. And then on top of that, hopefully in the future, moving towards an Adopt a Parks program as well. So without further ado, I'd like to present some certificates of appreciation. And so I'll just go ahead and change spots here. Let's see, I haven't used this one before. Is it on? All right. So first we have JD Human Landscape, and I don't believe JD Human's here today, but I know them well. Next up we have the Democratic Club of Santa Maria. Come on up. And I think are we doing this officially? Fist bumping for COVID? Thank you very much. And then the Rotary Club of Santa Maria. COVID safe. Dottie Lyons. I don't believe Dottie's here today, but certainly want to recognize her. The Minerva Club. We appreciate your help. Last but not least, the Santa Maria Noontimers Lions. Is there any other questions or anything else I can help answer before we conclude this item?
Thank you, Brett. Commissioners and guests, thank you for coming out. We do want to remind people that civic engagement is something that's really important in our department. A lot of our programs and services run because of volunteers. So we want to make sure that everybody who's viewing or watches the news story that Jason's putting together for us, we'll take a minute to think about getting engaged with their community and getting out and doing work. As far as the Adopt a Road program goes, as Anthony mentioned, there's an easy way to do it. You simply go to the city website and handle the registration information there. I see the mayor just arrived. Good afternoon, Mayor. So again, we want to thank the groups for helping. They each have their own unique ideas about service. You know, being involved in a service club myself, every one of them thinks about the best way to serve their community. Coming out to the local park, picking up trash isn't really a glamorous job. Picking it up along the roadway isn't either, but it needs to happen to make the community a better place for all of us. So thank you very much for all your efforts. We sincerely appreciate them. Thank you, Commissioner.
Just want to take the opportunity to thank you for your altruistic endeavors. And as Alex and Brett mentioned, we have in the works an Adopt a Park as well program around the corner. Is that correct? I look forward to that. I see a lot of people voluntarily going around picking up trash and doing what they can. Anytime we can give ownership to the citizens of our community, I think that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well,
You certainly are free to go if you would like. I'm sure Jason has interview questions for you too. So.
We have a five-minute requirement to stay.
John, thank you. Appreciate it.
I know.
Thanks, Scott. Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks for your presentation.
Is he leaving? Oh.
that's wonderful.
It is.
Okay, I guess we can move on to our next agenda item, which is regarding age range standardization. Alex?
Thank you, Commissioner Lee and Commissioners. So we have this little bit of confusion that Mr. Smitherman has taken it upon himself to try to get us to get to some clarity. So I'm going to let him present his staff report on this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Madam Mayor. I've provided you an agenda report that shows that we have different age ranges for different areas of entry fees and programs. So what we're looking to do to help our residents as well as staff is to standardize age ranges. So you'll see on the report that I've included some. These are just a recommendation and are open for discussion and change. Just some basic categories so we can look at all areas of entry fees and program fees that require age ranges to standardize those across the department. As you'll see, it could have an effect based on the decision of certain fees. Based on the proposed recommendations, it could go up or down based on your age. Again, these are just recommendations, and we are open to looking at other age ranges that you may suggest. But the fee, as a starting off point, we kind of looked at what the expendable income is for certain age groups, just as a starting off point. And that was verified through Equifax again, as a beginning point. So I'd love to answer any questions, but as you see, Los Flores Ranch has a set of ages that don't coincide with Paul Nelson Aquatic Center, which don't coincide with the fitness lab. So for clarification, we're just looking to standardize those ages.
Thank you, Dennis. Also, I think it's important to note that you might recall that last year the city did its fee study, and one of the areas that was not included were the program fees for recreation and parks. So we're trying to get a little bit ahead of the game and get to an age range, and ultimately that age range would be used when the fee study is the next phase, which we move into the recreation fees part of the study. So the examples that Dennis has on page 2 of his report, talking about fees changing, those are really kind of unknowns at this point because the study is yet to be completed and presented to the council. So at this point, we're really just asking for clarity, to establish clarity on the age ranges. And if these ranges make sense, more sense than our old ranges did, or our confused ranges did. The other thing is that as the community is aging, we're finding that the senior age, is really raising higher. I mean, there's a lot more longevity and activity in our age groups. We find that in our active aging committee that's out there working with seniors from around the community, that seniors are active much more into older ages. So again, that is reflected in this chart of ages. So again, we're really just looking at the top of page 2 to that age range group to kind of come to some standardization. And we're happy to try to answer any questions. And certainly these are recommendations. So if you think we should jumble them around a little ways, that would be helpful. I mean, that's your role as commissioners to let us know if we're too high, too low, not enough categories. Thank you.
I certainly have some comments, but I'm going to defer to the other commissioners first. Commissioner Molina, do you have any comments? Velasquez?
Velasco,
Sorry.
it's okay. Is this something we're trying to implement today? Is it are you going to continue kind of reviewing or?
It's something we can continue to review. It's not something that's imperative that we change immediately. What we've noticed, especially as we're opening back up, our customers are noticing the difference, between Los Flores Ranch and the swimming pool, for example. So we are getting questions. We can keep it status quo as we come up with these ranges as you see fit.
Okay. No questions.
Commissioner Carey?
Going through this, I was surprised that there was such a discrepancy for it's like, well, who would notice it? You're doing this, but no, I think the age ranges, I mean, they're perfect. They seem like they're going to be the proposed ones. And to have everything to be, I mean, it's only equitable. I don't know who would have trouble with it. Do you think there's going to be an issue with our constituents?
Based on the age ranges as proposed, there could be some issues with the teens those 16 and 17 would tend to take a reduction in fees as their youth, and those 65 to 74 would see an increase based on how it's written. Again, that was determined because just looking at statistics, the numbers show that those 65 to 74 have a higher level of disposable income than those 16 and 17. So trying to just be equitable, but again, that's open for discussion, and this was a starting point.
Having been a programmer, I always like to defer to the people involved, the principals involved, to determine what the fees are. There's usually very specific reasons, rationale for the age groups as to why the fees should be what it is. But one comment I would have is that if you don't already have a scholarship program or something to that effect, that we implement one so that programs are based on interest. Obviously, we need to recoup some of the fees, but if someone really can't afford to pay for the fees, that we have a scholarship program.
is we currently do have a scholarship program in place through our nonprofit partner, Play Inc., as well as any funds that we can raise from outside entities. So this last year has been a challenge. For example, the swimming pool, some of our seniors feel like the fee has been a little too costly. So we've been out, we've asked the Elks, we've asked different other service organizations to supply that. We do have a commitment, I haven't seen a check yet, for $1,000 to offer seniors free swimming or a reduced cost in swimming, and it is based on financial need. What we have found over this last year is a lot of requests have come from residents outside of Santa Maria, whether they be in our neighboring town of Orchid, but we've seen requests as far as Arroyo Grande. So it's really determining that our residents get first crack at those financial assistance dollars and then moving on. But it's without having a check in hand to offer the financial assistance, which we're trying to raise currently, it's hard to distribute no funds.
Any other comments or questions?
Thank you, Dennis. Commissioner Lee, so my comment would be is, again, we're just looking at the age groups right now. When the fee study rolls out, that will actually be kind of our, commission will have a chance to look at the fee programs that are proposed. And then once the commission sees those and makes a recommendation, then we'll advance those on to the city council for their consideration. It is, again, it's a wide variety. I mean, we have all the interests. Age is only one of the criteria that we look at. And certainly, as Commissioner Lee mentioned, we should be looking at their ability to pay. And it is, if I get an email a month asking me, to provide free swim or reduce swim prices or reduce the swimming pool prices from a senior, I get 100. So it's that many people that are concerned and do use our facilities. So we're aware of that, and we certainly want to try to figure out a way to help out. There's a program called that we've tried, the Silver Sneaker program, which is through the what are they called? Managed healthcare plans that are out there and kind of supplementing Medicare. There are some of those programs that we've been trying to get involved with so that we can use a billing system to their insurance company to cover their fees. So we are working on other angles, not just looking for funds from nonprofits to kind of supplement this cost.
My other comment would be parallel to Commissioner Carey's. If there's a way to reduce the varying age groups, as an example, seniors would be 61 and above or 55 and above, and that would cover all inclusive. To reduce the number of categories, that might be consideration, so you don't have so many. But again, my personal preference is that you need to defer to the programmers because they know best why they're coming up with the fees.
So just to clarify, we're not coming up with fees, we're just standardizing the age ranges for our programs,
that's it.
right?
That is correct, just standardizing age ranges.
So in that case, then, yeah, if possible, seniors be more encompassing, but starting at 55 and above, instead of having so many different within seniors.
So would you, commissioners, look at, so we have the 4 age ranges now. Are we saying that maybe the 18 to blank should be maybe not 74, but maybe a lower number? Again, typically, if you look at Medicare, it's 65. And that is the official cutoff point when you go on Medicare and you become an official senior. Is that a number that makes more sense? I mean, it seems that people are aware of that number. 55 is a little nebulous for a public employee. 55, yeah, I'm retired at 55. But for others, 55 is, heck, I got 10 more years, so.
If I could make a, just from like federal grant reporting, and I know you have like your child under 13, and then you have your minor 18 to 24. So that encompasses your TAY youth that we also service. and then 25 to 55, or 54, and then 55 to, or, you could go 25 to 65, whatever that is. But I think if we have that 18 to 24 age range, then it could encompass that kind of like young adult age that we're also fostering to a little bit with some of our programming. And then we have our, minor children age, so. I do think 18 to 74 is kind of wide, so breaking that up.
So to reiterate, did you say 0 to 18 for youth or 0 to 13?
I'd say 0 to 13. That's just my suggestion.
And then teens would be then 14 to 18?
15 to 18?
14 to 24, I think you said.
Oh.
14 to 24?
Because most of them would still be in school. I have a 35-year-old that's still in school, so I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, with the youth center
anything.
being for those up to age 18, that's what,
I'm kidding.
yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I
But
think I
it's-
had said like 0 to, so like for our reporting, it's child, so 0 to 13.
Okay.
And you have the minors, which are like 14 to 18, and then you have like your 18 to 24. But that's just a suggestion from what I've seen. And then obviously 25 to 55, and then 55. That might be too broken up, but I think there
Yeah.
definitely has to be like some, like teens, and then that middle age range, and then you're higher.
Thank you.
We can take that input and then come back with something to look at. Like I said, I asked the finance director this morning when she thought we would be moving into fees, and it's probably not going to be anytime soon. So we can agendize this and bring it back to you again with your comments.
Okay.
Some options, I guess. Thank you.
Okay. There are no more comments. We'll move on to number 6.
Commissioner Merlin.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
The old thing is adult, child, senior, getting repair.
Yeah.
It's 3 categories, right? Where do you put it, adult, child, senior?
Yeah, but what would constitute a child,
That's what I'm saying.
Or-
It's a child, it's
or a senior?
under, well, if you're 65, then
Yeah.
I don't consider myself at 56 a senior yet, am I?
Right.
How old are you?
58.
You're just hitting middle age, right?
Yeah, so,
Just,
child is under 18, I guess, or,
Yeah.
under 10, what did it say?
Under 40?
That's a fair.
In some cases,
Under
yes.
11 is a child, somewhere.
Okay, so we'll bring this back to you. Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, moving on to number 6, Old Business Commission outreach meeting dates.
okay.
So at the last meeting, we talked about taking the show on the road, and I happened to sit through the council District 1 meeting they had last week, I think that was. And it was out at Grogan Park, and it went really well. I mean, I think for us, the facility looked great. Kudos to Gabriel Velasco and his team for getting the facility ready to go. And for the people that showed up to play soccer, boy, that place was packed. And everybody there made a comment about that. A couple of the speakers, that was the night that the item for setting aside the $1 million was on the agenda. A couple of the speakers got up and said, look outside, look at the kids playing. You need to look at more sports facilities. So, yeah, it was good timing, as if we had planned it. But in any case, for this item, it's our schedule is the one pager that's attached as page 9. Kind of has the schedule for what I'm proposing to bring the commission out for the next for their 4 community meetings, and we're trying to do them in the districts. The problem, I'm sorry, we're trying to do them in the quadrants of the city, not the districts, because the districts, like District 1 is very narrow. I think in Grogan, while it's a nice facility, is kind of small. Hopefully we'll have some people come and speak, so we're looking at Atkinson Park for the Northwest Quadrant meeting. and then Edwards for the northeast, the Senior Center for the southeast, and then Minerva Center for the southwest. And we're just looking at a 6 o'clock, 5:30 for a regular agenda meeting. So any business that we have, we would tackle at 5:30. Then recess to the community outreach meeting, and it would be less formal. I'm really thinking just a conversation with whomever comes in. And if we don't have, a large crowd, maybe then just having a conversation with staff. I do plan to have the staff there from the key staff from the department present for the discussion. And then being able to look at our department goals and the commission goals and the city council goals and kind of see where we are. Take that opportunity to go through it at each of the meetings so that the community kind of understands where we're coming from.
Good.
And then where the council's coming from as far as goals that relate to us anyway.
That's cool.
Volunteer engagement opportunities, like the Adopt a Park or Adopt a Road that we just had. Yep. Yes.
Could we make sure that we have some play information at these? And I mean, I'm happy to represent that angle, but if we could just make sure to have some play display.
Sure. Yes. We can know that and make sure that Cindy gets something.
Cindy's gonna love that suggestion.
So if there was no objections to that, it's kind of just what I wanted to present to you today. I mean, do these look okay to you? These would be in lieu of your meeting, obviously, that month. If you're, we'll see how it goes.
Starting when?
First meeting is November the 9th. And we'll task our social media team and to get out there and get the word out for each of the meetings and contact the groups that we hear from on a regular basis, and then those that maybe might have an interest that we don't see as regular coming out to things.
I recommend that we have some type of informal surveys so that people can identify who they are, and then you might come to the department, maybe come up with some general questions. What are your general feelings about the department currently? What would you like to see in the future? Things like that. So, number one, we see who's coming. Number two, we start a roster of ownership, people who are engaged. Number three, we get ideas about what they would like to see.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds like a very good idea.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
I do. I love this idea. I love the outreach, and I think I'm excited to do it.
But hopefully, I'm not sure exactly how our youth programs are going to come out, as time continues to march on. Maybe we'll provide some information even out to our playground programs so that those youth can do that. Maybe even ask the school district if they would be willing to put something out through their ACES program or one of their other programs to get the information out through the students to their families.
That's another recommendation I would have, is somehow if we can target the audience, someone from the school district to represent them, someone from the nonprofits, the business community, so at least we know that we have at least a representative.
Yes. And that's, another good idea too. I think that there's a lot of our partners like Boys and Girls Club, the Y, even some of the faith-based groups that are out there to invite them.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, that's how we'll go. If these are okay with you, these will become the dates. Cool. And if anybody has an issue as time rolls on, as I know that happens, just kind of let us know. But we try to keep them all on commission dates so that we're not floating around the calendar.
Do you need a formal adoption, or it's just run? Okay.
No, I think it's good just the way
Okay.
that it is there.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Good idea. Thank you, Alex. Okay, moving on to number 7. Director of Management Staff.
Ryan, you're on. Right? Financial? Yes, budget.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Ryan.
I don't have a lot to report on the budget as we just completed our last meeting last month. But to date, we are now 8.33% of the fiscal year complete. We're 3% under, so we spent about 5% of our budget, which is good. We just got our carryover list from RICO and Finance today, so we're going to be reviewing that and carrying over any funds we can, particularly in the 16 and 801, so capital projects. We also are going to request to carry over funds from the Mayor's Task Force Fund because we weren't able to spend those due to COVID. So those are the primary areas we'll look at carrying over, which would include Los Flores Ranch, money for Enos Ranch, Chapel Plaza. I think those are the highlighted ones that I can think of off the top of my head. So I'll be working on that in the next couple of days, getting that ready for Alex's signature and down to finance to finalize. On the COVID area, we have been doing fairly well over the last month and a half or so. Recently, we've had 4 staff who have been put on the protocol watch list. All of them have come back negative and have since returned to work, so we seem to be doing okay with the new variant that's out there. We are masking up in indoor atmospheres now, so I think that may have helped. Hopefully that will keep our numbers low and we won't have to go through the extended protocol anymore. So that's the update for finance and also for COVID. Are there any questions in terms of our budget or our COVID protocol that's in place?
Just a comment, I'm anxiously looking toward the under 12 years of age vaccinations to be approved. And if so, any and all ways to empower that age group. So you have ideas.
Yes,
at the
I agree.
time.
That'll be nice when that does happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have, Dennis and his staff have been working with the county health department to do their pop-up vaccination events at our concert series. So I think they're coming up at the next 2, 3? The next 2, they'll have their pop-up clinic there available for anybody who would like to come in. The advantage of that, and I'm not really sure how the county's marketing it, is obviously we'll have our people there enjoying the concert, but it's also in the middle of a neighborhood, especially the one at Aquistapathie, where there's probably easily 700 residences within a 4-block area of the park. So, people could easily take advantage of that and not have the excuse that I couldn't get down to the Walmart or CVS or whatever. It's right here in my park. So I don't know what their marketing plan is. Hopefully they're going to do a good job marketing it and getting people out.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
So we have noteworthy activities for July report.
So there was another busy month. You can look through the list and see the activities that the department sponsored. We're getting back to sports activities with the masking requirement now. We did get some clarification that in our sports programs, as long as the individual is actually participating in the activity, if it's basketball, they're on the court, or if it's volleyball, they're in the game, even though they're indoors, they don't need to wear their mask. However, when they sit down or they move through the rest of the building or the crowd or sitting in the bleachers, that masks are required. That took effect last Friday evening. We posted signs accordingly around our facilities, reminding people that was now the requirement. So this health order is due to expire, I think it's the 5th of September right now. So we'll see if it gets extended or if there are other additions. We have heard from, through the city manager's office and that the health department's position is that they hope that the masks help quell the situation, and so they won't be moving to any more drastic measures anytime soon. So we hope that that's the case. We also got the update from Marion Hospital that they do have several new cases, but the hospitalization level is pretty low. I believe there were 7 hospitalized. So, all things said and done, there's obviously an issue out there, and I think The vaccination program is the one that needs to be focused upon to help control it. But other than that, we're doing good. We did have an outbreak, which is what OSHA calls when you have five employees or more?
It was 3.
Yeah, so 3 employees or more, and that's over at the police department. And as of this morning, they have 11 officers that are out. So, they're concerned because they also have 22 vacancies in the police department. So that's a total, plus 30 people that are not available to be on the streets. So a lot of extra work going on over there. Budget-wise, just so you know, yes?
So right now in our city parks, everything's open
Yes.
for rental use?
Yes. The only requirement is for like a wedding rental or something like that is that masks are required. We are not going to be the mask police there, however, but we will make sure that it's posted and that people know that it's their role for rentals. For department programs, then we will enforce the mask requirement. So that's kind of the difference, is if it's a public rental and they're using our facility, we just have to tell them, this is the guidelines, this is what you should be doing. In our facilities, during our programs, it will be, you need to mask up. Yeah. Anything outside is wide open right now, and there's no social distancing requirement outside. Mask off if you're eating, those kinds of things are still in place, so.
It's getting a little scary out there.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a girls softball team. Like I said, 3 of them came back. The parents went to Vegas and came back. 3 of them tested, came back positive. Then we quarantined. We didn't practice for 2 weeks and stayed home. Everybody did well. Then we had 2 more go to high school volleyball, and now they're having a breakout over there. And it seems to be hitting the kids, the youth.
Wow.
And, it's spreading really quick amongst the unvaccinated here.
Yeah.
In the community, and everybody has got mask on and mask off, and you go outside and there's no social distance and we're gone, basically. So, just gotta be careful.
Yeah, that's really it, and I think, again, the education of the young people that, it is, a responsibility to go and get your vaccination done. Vaccination clinics are open. The Fair Park is still open and available. I don't even think you need an appointment anymore. The pharmacies are all doing the vaccinations. The only Johnson & Johnson, the one shot that I've heard of is at Costco in San Luis Obispo. Everyone else in Santa Barbara County is doing the Moderna 2 shots vaccine. Yeah. Let's see. Any questions on the report?
I have a question. I like to look at sports as a lifetime interest, promoting fun, fitness, and friendship well after a person's prime opportunity, like high school sports, youth sports. So as an example, one of the emphasis we had in our programs was to change the rules. Instead of pitching in softball, where you have a pitcher and batter duel, you have 3 pitch to your own team. So everyone hits the ball. A lot more action in the outfield. And after you graduate from college or wherever, you can continue to just say, hey, neighbors or friends, let's go play. And it's easily picked up. Or in water polo, I've always been a sinker, so I could never play water polo. So when I went to UCSB, they played inner tube water polo. Oh, what a wonderful sport. I had so much fun. Or ultimate frisbee, no officials needed. I mean, there's so many opportunities. In basketball, I changed the traditional 5-on-5 to 3-on-3. You play 2 games per hour, each up to 15 baskets by 1s or 2s for 3-pointers. No officials needed. And people loved it. We had about 300 teams sign up for that. So I would love to talk to whoever the sports coordinator is and see if we can enhance those opportunities And even in our sport club programs, like in rowing, most people think about the 8-person boats or the 4-person boats. But I talked to the program directors, I said, make sure that every opportunity that you have, teach people how to scull. So sculling is the single. So if you learn how to scull, then for the rest of your life, it becomes a lifetime interest. So that's the emphasis I would love to have.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee. And Dennis and I have been talking about how the rec division has been doing things, for the 40-plus years that I've been here, and they really haven't changed in 40 years, and maybe it is time to look at, well, I know it's time to look at other alternatives to challenge the community in different ways. So he's working on it, and
Wonderful.
we will be looking at some different program ideas. Pickleball, I mean, just taking off,
Yeah.
But even just the tournament framework, I know Mr. Milena will remember this. I mean, the department used to run the tournaments. I mean, that was something that we did. It was our staff. We did the draws. We set it all up. Maybe we get back to doing some of that to make sure that tournaments are out there for the different interest levels. And, like you say, maybe it's a 3-on-3 tournament or whatever it happens to be.
I'm glad you brought that up, Alex, because from my own observation, the national governing bodies, whether it be Little League or the AYSO or whatever, they have taken over, and it's a big business. So unless you have some control and you scrutinize what they're doing, it's a big business, and that's their emphasis, is how do I get money into our programs?
Right.
And those adults tend to take over. Commissioner.
I think, Commissioner, it's all money now with the kids and travel ball and in all sports, and you have to compete. And if you want to make that high school team, you better play on that travel ball, volleyball team or whatever, because you're not going to make it.
Yeah, it's not like in our days where any kid can just go to the playground and participate.
Yeah, no, it's the whole thing it's a lot of money. When I was, Mr. Posadas there, we were part of the city and park insurance, and we had insurance. I think it was $5 a kid, paid like $300 or whatever. Now it's $15, $20, $23 a player, and cost you a team of 10, 11 that play fall ball. I think this year it's going to be $1,200 if you didn't play. So we're everything is expensive now, and if the city would get involved again, it would be tremendous, because it would cut down all the ASA, all the other fees that come on this.
On top of those, yeah.
On top of it. And more park than rec. And as Mr. Posadas knows, I've always been about rec ball, not all-stars and travels and stuff like that, about everything. So it would be nice if the city would get back involved in that, and overseeing little leagues and Babe Ruth and all the youth football, and being part of that. So that way it would help with our finances too.
Thank you. Let's see, where are we?
Operations Division report
Recreation.
or recreation?
It's a nice segue, thank you. Commissioner Lee, we have our 9 new kayaks are ready to be picked up. So we'll be starting some kayak training in our 50-meter pool. We're going to teach you first how to get back in it when you fall out, and then we'll worry about the other skills after that. So we are excited. We are looking at different recreation programs all over the United States and creating our own as well. So we've seen pickleball pick up quite a bit. We're looking at expanding that to indoors for the winter time, and then looking at some alternative programs. Like you said, the inner tube water polo is right up there. We did just receive a inflatable volleyball court that goes in the pool. So for those of us who don't like to land hard on our feet or our knees, or after watching Olympic volleyball, we'll be able to start an aquatic volleyball program as well for different age groups and different variety of skill levels. So we're excited about that. So we're constantly on the lookout for alternative programming and incorporating that. Currently, we are looking to write a grant for an outdoor recreation program. The tentative name right now is Santa Maria Outdoor Recreation Experience, also known as SMORE. Sorry, I just love to say it. So we are doing a survey. We did just collect 60 surveys from seniors. Actually, I should say 55 and over are active aging adults. at the recent meeting and looking at just not only what that active group is interested in, but also our teens, our youth, our families. And we're going to be reaching widespread to see what our community was really interested in. And that list is quite extensive as to what opportunities are out there. And then, of course, there's always the other box. So if you're interested in anything from kayaking, hiking, mountain biking, learning to mountain bike, all those categories are in there. And then, whoops, did we miss anything? So that's an option that people get to check. One of the other exciting things that we're learning through this survey is what state parks have our residents visited and what national parks have our residents visited as part of this grant process, which is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. We may be able to actually take our residents to those places as part of this package. So we are definitely working on that grant right now. And that's through California Parks and Recreation Department as part of being equitable in recreation programming all throughout the state of California. Cindy Hoskins and I had a grant interview last week for the soccer complex that, most of the time you leave an interview and you're not sure how you did. We really like our state representative, so I think Cindy would back me up in saying we had a really good time with our state rep and showing her the area and the impact that it would have on the community. The grant was very well written. Cindy and her team did a great job, so we're looking forward to hearing back from them later this year. Most likely, it could get pushed back. Actually, it probably will get pushed back, but we're looking for that answer here in the near future as well. And a couple little grants we're working on. There's a National Endowment for the Arts grant we're looking at to do some different art projects, and just moving forward, looking for additional funding opportunities. As far as programming goes, that we continue to move forward as we go into fall. Yes, I know it's not even the end of August yet, but we're definitely looking fall, winter time. We'll be expanding the pool hours to accommodate our partners. Let's see who uses our pool. The water polo team, One Way, one of the high schools, and Orchid Academy High School as well. So we're looking at scheduling. We have not had the nationwide shortage issue with lifeguards that they've had in a lot of places. We've been really lucky to really bring up lifeguards through our training system. Started with Ryan. All right. Him and his group did an amazing job a long time ago, and we're lucky to inherit that. So it's definitely moving forward. What we're having an issue with is our teen programs and staffing. Our entry-level position as rec leader is very difficult to fill right now, extremely difficult. So we are trying to reach out to groups. We have advertising both at Hancock and Cal Poly and through the high schools in different sources that are traditional for us, but we're making an extra effort to really push those opportunities. It's caused such a challenge that we've had to look at our programming for fall. We're going to have to reduce some of our typical programming, including the hours we're open at the youth center. So it looks like the youth center right now will be open from after school into about 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then the Saturday hours actually have yet to be determined based on staffing levels. So we'll continue to push and try to recruit. Again, being with a municipal organization, it's not like a private sector. We don't offer bonuses. We're not able to do those sort of things. So it's definitely about what can we offer, and that's a promise that we'll continue to educate our staff to help them be ready for the promotion when it comes up, those kind of things. So yeah, the staff are doing an amazing job with our fall programming lineup, and you'll have that. We're looking at creating another publication, not quite as extensive as our rec guide, but definitely getting a one sheet out there to definitely inform the community of what programs we have coming up. We do appreciate that not everyone is on Facebook, although we have about 4,500 followers. Thanks, and Commissioner Carey and Commissioner Lee for sharing all of that stuff. We appreciate it. when you do go on your social media pages. But we're looking at something a little simpler than a traditional rec guide, but something that will be able to provide our community with an understanding of what programming we have going on in the near future. So, and those are the big highlights.
Thank you, Dennis.
Any comments, anyone?
Just have a question.
Commissioners? Yes.
The rec guide, you mentioned it. Did we stop sending that out?
We did,
Okay.
when-
I was like, you just mentioned, I was like, oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, when COVID hit and programming ended, there was really no reason to. It is quite an expense to, not only the staff time to put that together, to get it printed and mailed is expensive, but we will be looking at an abbreviated rec guide and then looking to really utilize our online presence as well. You know, things that we used to use, like a flip book, where it was really cool. You can, you know, Target used to do it for the advertising. It just looked like the pages were flipping on your computer screen. Most of that software is outdated now, and they no longer even offer it. So we're looking at alternatives as well. We've looked at everything from creating an app to doing different sorts of outreach, and so it's still, people still like that print. So if we can get at least basic information out there about what's coming up for fall, and for those that are interested, we hope that they'll either call or click or somehow get a hold of us to get them to get registered. We have made registration easier, now not only available at the administration office, but we have registration for programs and facility and park rentals now available at the youth center through the kiosk and the L1 Muscle Senior Center. Traditionally, we've had a lot of those seniors come into the admin office. You know, they shouldn't have to. They're right there taking a class. So those kiosks are slowly being rolled out and integrated. So, but yeah, definitely getting information out to people. They still like a piece of paper.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Dennis, do you get very many people from Paul Lesage class helping out in the department?
You know, it really depends. You know, I don't know. Some years we get a bunch, and other years, actually for a couple of years, the last couple of years, we haven't seen a lot of students. I know that
COVID.
Anthony is a perfect example of a Paul Lesage student. You know, a lot of them look at the different forms of recreation, whether it be in a department or it could be on a cruise ship or in the hotel industry. So it really depends what his students have an interest in at that time. And I know you were on that group meeting, you and I sat in on that group meeting. And so just being a part of that curriculum building, and of course, we always try to steer people towards the municipal aspect of recreation, but sometimes they have other goals. We'll continue to work on that.
And I think that's a good resource. I know we used to provide all the officials in the community, all the various leagues, because we train them at the university, and then they get sent out to the various leagues in high schools even.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to comment was, I want to talk about perhaps in the future, a team building ropes course. I just got back from the city of Rockland, and they just installed the outdoor ropes course. And I know at the university, we used to have businesses come in, schedule time to where, for staff development, they paid us to do team building.
Sure.
And challenge courses.
That was big in my past life at the YMCA, yeah, and I've done the one at Paso Robles. I don't encourage it. Yes.
Yeah, maybe at Los Flores Ranch or one of those.
Yeah, there's even the low ropes course, you know, those high rope courses definitely make the city a little nervous with the liability, but there's low rope activities you could do without having all of that liability involved. But definitely we can chat about that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I look forward to the kayak. And what you said about getting back into a kayak, same thing for inner tube.
Oh, yeah.
A beginner will spend forever trying to get back in.
Just roll it around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tequila.
Okay, are we ready? Any other questions? Can I start? Okay. Try and follow Dennis, all that information. No, that was good. Thank you, Dennis. So just a couple of quick updates on some of the operations. We were working with the County of Santa Barbara to install voting drop-off boxes at various community centers. So I'll include for this selection Edwards, Manami, Atkinson. Other locations are under review and consideration. There's just not enough time for us to roll everything out in the tight time period. But we are working with the county on that. So you'll see those popping up around town. We painted the bathrooms over at North Presker and Presker. We put an epoxy coat on the floors and a new polyurethane finish on the walls. And we did that as well over at Oakley, among some other renovations. But North Presker and then both bathrooms at Presker have been refreshed. And then at Presker, we're gonna try a pilot where we remove the, we talked about some of the homeless issues last month. So what we're gonna do is a trial where we remove the sinks from the inside of the bathrooms. We're gonna install a sink to the outside of the bathroom, change it over to stainless steel, and then put backing in it to where you could put as much weight as you wanted to on that without breaking it. So at least we'll get to be seen. That's the idea. So trying to change a little bit what we do in those regards. So those are some things that are actually taking place now. There's a lot of other bathrooms that we're planning to paint. It's all dependent on budget, of course, but we're spreading the need. So there's going to be some other ones that are going to be done this next month, and I'll update you next month when those are completed. But I would invite you to take a look at the ones that we did paint so far and let me know what you think. So Oakley, we renovated the field, the sports fields, all sports fields. Trimmed all the shrubs. We replanted shrubs where there were shrubs missing. I reworked all the irrigation to make sure everything worked properly. We painted the bathrooms inside and outside. And then there's some trees there that are problematic for us maintenance-wise. And so those are being removed. And then we're replanting with other species that we can get some more longevity out of, and hopefully have some bigger trees in the park. Then we're evaluating other areas where we can plant trees in the park. But really did our staff really worked their butts off out there. We self-performed all that work. We have this machine, it's a 3-wheeled machine that's a broom. So when we renovate fields, it leaves all the thatch on the fields, and then this broom will come along and sweep everything up. Well, that broke right after we dethatched, so we had to do all that by hand. So that set us back a little bit, but it's a different approach than we've done in the past, because in the past, we go from park to park to park and do one specific thing. And this is a play on what we did at Buena Vista, where we said, okay, we're gonna touch up Buena Vista. And with some volunteer help, we touched up Buena Vista. Just a little bit more work to do out there, but we took a whole park approach instead of a one-task approach. So at Oakley, go out there, take a look, let me know what you think. I think that's the right approach for the staff. I think it's better for morale, and I think it's better for the community to see that you're not just touching one thing and then walking away. You're trying to look at the whole thing, the whole park. Yeah. So, but we're behind in trimming now elsewhere. So we're also looking at a different approach to trimming to see if we can save some time and be more productive. We're always looking for ways to do that. So there's culture change happening there. Let's see. We're also going to be painting the basketball court at Oakley. They're just backed up through September. So that'll happen late September, October possibly, but we have cut the PO for that, so that'll be updated as well. We're going to do the same color that we've done at some of the other parks with it's almost like a UCLA color, inadvertently, I don't know why, but
I wonder.
it was the color that we ended up picking for the pickleball, and then the Costapache Park basketball court ended up being a nice neutral color, so.
They're beautiful.
We're going with that unless anybody has other ideas. Let's see. We also renovated Bob Orrock, the field there. And so that sports field's been renovated. And then, let's see. We've got some special district renovation projects underway over at A Street and then on Seaward. So you'll see some dry grass in those areas, and we're switching over to more water conserving landscaping. We've also applied for a grant with CAL FIRE for our urban forestry management plan. And so that grant was submitted this last month. And so that's in hopes of being able to have an urban forestry management plan that considers many different aspects of tree issues that we're working with the environmental committee on. And then, in addition, our special districts crew has responded to multiple accidents. We've had a lot of accidents this last month. There was one accident on Skyway. It was over $25,000 in damage. And, but we've, cleaned it up, hired a contractor, had them go out and redo it. So those are just the types of things that we've, been doing. And then we've also replaced cobbles over on Western, south of Battles, near Quistapatchee Park. We've put cobbles in place where there has never been landscaping and it's just been dirt. And so we're trying an approach where, going to clean things up. We didn't cement them in because we still have irrigation in there. So we'll see how it works. I had one community member ask me if a kid was going to throw the rock over the wall and hit his house. And so we'll see how that works. But and then on to capital projects. I provided you with an update on where we're at with capital projects. We're slogging along. We got a bid back for Chapel Plaza that was double our budget. And so we did a lot of internal review, I guess you could say, and try to determine whether or not those numbers were legitimate. Certainly a legitimate bid. It's just we sort of felt internally that it made a lot of sense for us to go out to a formal bid. So there's two different bid processes we can go through. One is through JOC and one is through a formal public bid process. And so we decided that let's go ahead and move forward with the formal bid process. It takes a lot longer. But that's the process. So it's going to be a little while longer. The Veterans Memorial Park continues to move forward. I'm hoping for a resubmittal any day. That project's still on track. It's still, we're still well within our timeline for that project. It's just going through the planning process. It takes a long time to complete the plans on these things. We've also got the Enos house moving forward. We've placed the purchase orders for windows. And as you can imagine, the lead time on those is a long time. They're a little bit more unique than a lot of windows that are out there. But we have placed a 50% down payment on those to get those moving. And we're looking at a September, October timeframe on the windows. We're also put a down payment on the some of the wood materials, the finer finishing milled materials that we need, millwork for the Enos house. And it's all just specialty stuff. So it's not a big, like when you're remodeling, you have all these little specialty things that you have to, do here and there. And so it can be a little bit frustrating on the timing, but we are making progress. So I'm very confident that we'll be sealed up with a roof and have the exterior completed along with the windows before the rainy season this year. So that's our goal. Other than that, any questions?
What's the anticipated opening date for the Enos house? For the park?
There is so many complicated pieces to that project. The Enos house sits on a site that requires substantial development. So I don't know. I think it's probably 2023. I think we'll have to get through the planning on the bigger project before we can really get, that's my gut, is it'll be in 2023. It's not going to be 2022. I don't think. But stranger things have happened.
Has there been an overview of what the project actually is anywhere identified, articulated?
So we have fully developed plans on the Enos house and the community center. That's all fully developed. So yes, we're this close, ready to submit plans for a full submittal on the entire project. So
I have a lot of people asking me, that's why.
yeah, it's fully designed. I mean, we're right there, ready to push it off the cliff and get the project rolling. It's just a big project, so it's going to take a while.
Commissioner Lee, similar to Buena Vista Park and when we went through that upgrade and which we'll also do for Veterans Memorial Park, we do have that available on the city website. So we have staff out there taking progress pictures, letting you know what's coming up. We don't tend to put dates specifically on there, but we will let you know the next steps. So it is available on the city website. If you need that address, let me know.
Thank you.
Yeah, and when I say 2023, that's just the house. It doesn't include the rest of the park that is going to take a while to construct. So we'll see. Once we get plans back and all that finalized, then we can start to assign, some dates to it. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Alex?
Thank you all very much. I did leave you a little note that we got a thank you email from a lady who was thanking the Rangers, and I just want to point that out. I think another example of the Rangers doing a good job out there, and we don't usually hear too many good things about them, so.
That was beautiful. I got,
Sorry, I'm just going to excuse myself.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
if you guys get a chance, I was down at called the Orange County Great Park.
Great.
Great Park. Called the Orange County Great Park. It's up in Orange County.
It's in Irvine, right?
And this place, we walked in, the boys walked in, it was beautiful. Soccer fields, basketball fields.
Is that the one out at the old Marine base out there?
Yes.
I don't
That
know what
it?
it was before,
Yes.
but that's it right there, see? And it was the most magnificent thing that I've ever seen in my life.
I really want to second what Commissioner Camillina is saying. If you haven't, go to other communities. It's amazing what people are building out there. And Alex, I've been forwarding the athletic business magazines to Alex. Just go through those pictures even. If you can't get out there physically, look through those pictures and see what the innovation is for recreation today. It's amazing. We do a great job. All of you do a great job, but we can always do better.
So, just a little bit of background on the El Toro base. So what they ended up doing over there was, so it was military surplus property, so that part was easy. The county just basically took it over. But they did do a countywide initiative to raise the funds to build those facilities. I think I mentioned at the last meeting that, we are looking at bringing a consultant on to look at a citywide assessment district to expand facilities, maintain facilities, build new facilities. So we're working on getting the scope of work done for that. So again, it's like anything else, all it takes is money. I think that if we're able to market that out to the community and give examples of these are the kinds of things you can have in your community if you're willing to put up $100 a year from everybody. It's really up to the community to step up.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I was telling you about the bathrooms that we're trying to paint and the issues that we have with those, and I'd paint them every year if we could. I'd paint them every 6 months if we could. We want to provide that top level of service and do a better job of the renovated landscape, and switch some of these other areas over to more drought tolerant landscape and things like that. It's just getting to that next step to help us do that. And so I think that's, we'd love to be able to. I'd love nothing more. So.
The other facility I would love all of you to go see is up in Paso Robles. There's an art center where if you're an artist, you can have a facility in there. And so you can work in there, you can paint, create a pottery and sell your wares at the same time. It's just amazing. Go take a look at these other facilities in other communities. You'll be impressed. Somewhere in this report, you talked about having fee referendums in the future, Alex, and I can't remember where it was.
So we did hand out some material a while back that dealt with I believe it's from NRPA, where it was talking about the fact that this is the time to strike while the iron is hot with COVID. And that's kind of where we're going with this assessment district referendum or election, if we're able to go that route. The difference is the funding mechanism is a little different. So as opposed to going out for a flat-out sales tax or a flat-out property tax assessment, with a landscape district assessment where it factors differently. So every year we'd be going back and saying, here's the things that we want to do. So this is just a different avenue, but very similar to that is that we want to be able to point back at everything that's happened over the last 20 months and say, you know, you were out there in our parks, you were out there using our facilities. They're your facilities. You know, do you want more? Do you want them better? You know, as Brett says, we could do a heck of a lot more if the general fund was able to put more money towards that. But you got police, you got fire, you got streets, you got everything else competing for the same dollar. So it is tough. And so this way, it would be a dedicated assessment that would go specifically for those purposes. And other communities, even Lompoc, which is a pretty small community, they created a special assessment for parks and for the aquatic center specifically. So it's just a matter of getting your voters out there and getting behind it. So we'll see.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, I just was at a tournament right here at Hagerman this weekend. And we go to Taft and we go to Bakersfield and we go to other places. And those people come here and they see Rodenberger and Miramonte and then they see Hagerman. And they say, wow, you guys, these are beautiful. These are beautiful complexes, you know? So yeah, what we have right now, they're beautiful complexes, you know, with their nice fields, you got a playground, you got, you know, toilets, you have a restaurant out there. And they were totally impressed with the Hagerman complex and, you know, the other fields that Santa Maria has. So it's small, but we still have nice stuff.
We do. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
compared to other towns.
Taft.
We play with cows.
We had all grass fields down at the university down in Santa Barbara. And every time it rained, which we don't receive anymore, but we would take at least a week before we can get back on the fields. So we proposed a fee initiative for the students to pass in terms of referendum. And now if you go down there, all the fields are turf. And they build 2 recreation centers, a new track, a new rock climbing wall, a roller hockey rink, aquatic center, multi-million dollars. And then I want to comment, the last meeting we had talked about evaluating the cost between using contracting out versus perhaps shifting over and hiring our own trade mechanics. Any development of that concept?
So, same as last time, we have a proposal that we're going to be taking forward to the budget on the restroom cleaning. And so that'll be fully analyzed, and that's our biggest low-hanging fruit, we think. So that's something that'll be going forward to the budget process.
Yeah, just evaluation. We saved a lot of money when we shifted from contracting with the facilities management of the university versus having our own within department.
It's all about scale. You know, what is the scale of the work? Can you keep someone busy in doing that? If you can keep someone busy and if you can, you know, manage the work product well enough, there's trade-offs. Once you hire someone, they need to be able to produce the work product that you need a contractor to produce. With a contractor, I can move on with a different contractor if they don't meet my expectations. What we do is a little bit different, as you well know, and so we need to be careful about how we deal with that. But generally speaking, yeah, I've seen a tremendous amount of savings when we're able to in-house projects versus contract projects. And generally, we do a better job, so.
Yep. Any other comments, questions? Yeah. moving on, number 8. Commissioners, any reports? No?
I do.
Okay. Commissioner Carey?
I won't go through all the stuff I did, but as a community interest, there's a, I want to get the right name of it. At the Wilding Museum in Solvang, it used to be in San Ynez, there's an exhibit right now called Art from the Trail. And it's exploring the natural beauty of Santa Barbara County. And it's all the riverbeds, and it's very cool. And they're open Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. And I highly recommend you going. Our riverbed is there, right? Like literally, the view out of my bedroom window, somebody painted it, and it's gorgeous. So, but I highly recommend it because it's our county and it's beautiful. Just a little bit of art, and we need to support that museum anyway. It's a museum of art and Wilding Museum of Art and Nature.
Yeah, the Wilding is one of those resources that you don't think about. They don't do a very good job outreaching the community. But that's a great
I get
idea.
emails from them several times a week. So they do.
You do. Dennis,
But
plan an outing.
yeah.
Plan an outing.
She's also a art commissioner, so we've been touching base, and we'll be starting a new out and nature program at Buena Vista Park through a grant we received, and they'll be invited to participate. Cool. Thank you.
Cool.
But and how I found out about this though, because you get a lot of emails from the same place, you tend to not always read everything. And the guy that's the head of the county trails, you know who I mean. I don't remember his name right now, but he had emailed me and said that this was there, and that he was sending me postcards were being made of all of the exhibits. So I'm looking forward to getting the postcards. I'll bring them in when they come.
Thank you. Yeah, please let us know.
Yeah.
Just a comment. I recently read an article, and I don't even remember where I read the article, but it was by the Santa Barbara County Supervisor. What's his name now?
Greg Hart? Oh, no.
Oh,
No.
here, Lavanino, the 5th District?
No, not
Or Nelson?
Nelson, Bob Nelson.
Oh, the 4th District.
Yeah, he was talking about all the plans that Santa Barbara County has, including the former Orca Aqua Center. And,
Oh, right. Mhm.
Yeah, and Lake Kachuma, there's a new rowing program out there called Mission Rowing, where they have youth development in all age groups, but for rowing. But I'm just curious, who's the representative? Do we have regular meetings for the county to?
So the county continues to be a little odd. So there are no regular meetings with the county. We have been asking for regular meetings, gosh, for what, 15, 20 years? San Luis Obispo County has a really good commissioner group where all the departments get together and talk and exchange ideas and things. We tried that with COVID, was probably only because it was an emergency that everybody got together. And we're hoping that we're able to sustain that. Myself and the recreation manager in Goleta and City of Santa Barbara, we talked about using this catalyst as kind of trying to keep meetings going. But even that has come down pretty much to no meetings over the last month or so. Once we went to the other tier, can't remember what color it was, we pretty much stopped meeting. We meet once a month now, I think it is. So, but that's another good idea. I mean, there's so many resources that we have. So it's just a matter of getting people to the table.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.